All right, so welcome back again to our tag management journey series. We've already gone through the different steps of the journey. If you've been following along, we've defined the goals that we have for our particular initiative for which we are evaluating the different tags and changing things on the website. We've defined those goals, we've audited all the different tags and the data that's being collected on our website, and then as well as created our tag policy. So we know what's allowed, what's required. Now we get into the nitty-gritty of this and defining what the structure looks like, and that is as we get into our tag architecture. So the architecture is going to involve a few different things. Primarily though, here's where we're answering the question of where. So where are all the different tags and platforms that we have? Where should they be? We're answering how exactly they should be loading. So should they be loading through something like our tag management system from the page? And it's going to depend upon considerations for each tag as to what that behavior is. But we need to define for each how exactly each is loaded, where it is, so what pages, what sections of the site, what interactions those things are being loaded on, and as well as what. So what data points are being collected? What are the requirements? And this what piece is really the most complicated one as well as the most important. So the thing to really keep in mind as we're thinking about what data needs to be collected is we need to start with our neediest of all the tags. Now 95% of the time, this is going to be our web analytics platform. It's not uncommon when dealing with clients. And most of the time people are going to be using something like a Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, or IBM Core Metrics potentially. But it's not uncommon to see instances where clients will have 50, 100, 200 pages of a solution design document or a master guide as to what they're wanting to track in analytics. And what that's going to entail really, and what that's really going to lay out for us is what interactions on the website need to be tracked, what button clicks, what funnels, what flows, what downloads, what needs to be tracked, what context, so what information needs to be collected with those different interactions, and then as well as on each page, what information do we want to get based upon the user, as well as based upon the content on the page. So we need to map that out and know what. Now we take the neediest, and then we start layering on top everything else that we need. So we have our baseline requirements from our analytics platform, but we also have our tag policy. We have a bunch of other third parties that are also needing to gather information on the website. So we start thinking about, okay, what are the requirements for each of these? Most of the time, those requirements are going to be covered by what's required by the analytics platform, but sometimes behavior might be a little bit different, or they're collecting something in a different way. So we're going to need to also factor in that as we think about what, so the data. The next piece of the architecture, and really the most important, is our all-star over here, the data layer. Now, we'll go into specifics and more on the data layer in future editions of our tag management tips, but just a quick overview of kind of what it is. So your data layer sits in between up here on your website. So this is what users of your website are actually seeing. So the content, any videos they're watching. This is what is consumed by the user. So this is your website. And then this down here would be your backend system. So it might be your content management system that's housing all the content that's being shown here. But it also has all the contextual information about who's the author of this particular article, or what is the topic of whatever they're looking at. What is the product information of the product that they're looking at on your e-commerce website. That all lives here. It does get shown up here, because obviously something like a product information, price, name is going to be surfaced for the user, but it becomes very difficult to grab that information by all the different tags in a one-off sort of scenario. So in comes the data layer. And that is just a layer that sits between your application layer or your site and then the back-end system. And what we're going to do is just surface all of the data points that are required based upon our requirements and that are available in the back end here in that data layer. So they're all housed in one central location. Think of it almost like a toolbox. You put all the different tools that you might need for any number of different projects or jobs, in this context, any number of tags, and they're all organized in one place, easily referenced and easily used for each. So as we define that what, all those different data points, we need to architect that in to the structure and what that looks like on the data layer, what's required on different pages, different sections of the site. In addition, we need to start architecting out how our tags live, where exactly they need to be in terms of pages as well as that loading behavior. And a big, huge piece of this is going to be our tag management system. The vast majority of tags that are on your websites are just going to be there for the purpose of tracking, either user behavior or behavior even of the website itself, or just gathering data points as to effectiveness of different media campaigns or different marketing initiatives that you have going on. Those types of just purely tracking tags can all be managed within your tag management system. Now, again, like the data layer, we'll go into this in a little bit more depth, but your tag management system, as we went through in the policy kind of phase, you have all your different tags that load from your website. Your tag management system is, think of it as just a container. So it houses all those different tags in one place. It can be managed offline, and in many cases by your media or your marketing team. As well as it'll handle any types of variables, which these variables are referencing directly the data layer. So it allows you to pull out the information that we're surfacing in the data layer, use them in those tags, and then also it will also contain all of our firing rules. So we know exactly when these different tags should be firing. So we define as a part of the architecture where our tags should be, how exactly they should be loading, what they should be collecting. We then architect how all of those data points are surfaced, which is going to be, we're going to use the data layer as a vehicle for surfacing those. And then for the load behavior and the actual management of the tags, we're going to use that tag management system and define in that architecture how all of that looks. So going through with that architecture, the final piece of the actual documentation and planning, coming out of this stage, you're going to have a really good understanding of exactly what this overall tag architecture is going to look like, and then we can get into building it. In our next stage of the series, we'll get into that actual building and doing loop.